relationships through gender differences. We definitely know about gender differences, and since the topic is on relationships, I would want to talk a little bit about what relationships mean to us before I start. So let's start with what the purpose of relationships are. Most of us know that we enter into relationships in the hope of finding intimacy. Now, the thing is, actually, since intimacy is something that we can find, but we need to spruce ourselves up for it, relationships work as teaching assignments for all of us, and they give an opportunity, maximal opportunity to people who have the maximum potential for growth with each other. They get brought in together for a relationship. We know that we have different types of relationships. We have some which come in for a reason, some which come in for a season, and then there are lifetime ones. So relationships that come in for some relationships are intense teaching and learning situations, while other relationships are lifetime ones that offer you unlimited opportunities for growth and learning. As we know, learning is not easy, nor is it fun. So when we talk in terms of learning, we talk in terms of factors like gender differences. When they come in, it makes it even more challenging. If we can understand gender differences a little more, I'm sure we'll be a lot more comfortable and curious in our relationships. So are gender differences actually a result of nature, which is our biology, or are they a result of nurture, which is culture, our stereotypes, and the roles we play? We know that our bodies are different, that's for sure, but are our brains different too? Well, our brains serve our bodies, and in that way they are different because they look at everything a little differently. So with different genders, we have a different way of perceiving the world, and we also have a different imagination. One of the key differences is the way in which men and women deal with stress. How they deal with stress is very different. And when we understand it, it is easier for us not to misinterpret our partners when we see them under stress. UCLA conducted a study a while ago to see how men and women deal differently with stress. The study was done, and it was one of the first of its kind, because till then only men were studied as to how they deal with stress, and women were not studied, primarily because they would have different moods and menstrual cycles and different hormonal things. So they thought it's difficult to study women under stress, so it hadn't been done before. But the results were pretty startling. What they found is that what they studied was the resilience to life stressors, which is our daily challenges, problems, emergencies, deadlines that we face. And it was measured by the stress levels, which is the cortisol levels in a person's body. The findings were that women under moderate stress, their brain is 8 times more active in the emotional part than men. And therefore, they tend to be under stress more reactive. The hormone, which is related to stress, the testosterone, it reduces stress in men. But what it does in women, it reduces the level of oxytocin in women. That's a nurturing hormone. So they are not able to be as nurturing as they were when they are not any kind of stress. Routine activities, nurturing activities, caring, sharing, loving, all increase and stimulate the oxytocin in women. Men need 30% more testosterone in their bodies than women in order to cope with day-to-day stress. Now, look at the picture. When a woman comes home, you would definitely think that she is now relaxed because she's had a day's work and she's come home. But what happens is that women's stress levels double when they enter the house. They double because they feel that there's a lack of time, lack of support, and there's so much to be done. They come into the house, they open the door, and they see their husband or their partner sitting on a couch watching television, watching a cricket match or a football match. What happens? Anger. Lot of anger. But what they don't understand is that the man is not sitting there because he doesn't want to be helpful or supportive. He's sitting there because he's rebuilding the testosterone that he needs to lower his stress. And that happens when he watches something that's new and exciting, when he's doing something that's challenging, when he's solving a problem, when he's sacrificing for a good cause. That is why sometimes women get angry with their spouses. Why are you helping others? But of course, he's helping others. Again, he's rebuilding testosterone. So if we did understand gender differences, it would allow for a lot more compassion, a lot more adjustment, and definitely more harmonious relationships. So what men and women want in relationships is, there are some different qualities and some similar qualities too. Men seek partners who are youthful and sexually attractive, as opposed to women who value men's experience and his occupational achievements. Men rate sex more important than love, and women's rate love more important than sex. The interesting thing is both emphasize affection and companionship, and men give greater emphasis to sacrifice and dependency themes, whereas women give greater importance to their partners being independent and self-reliant. So we have all these, and some of these we've heard, and we've known as stereotypes. I think we all know what stereotypes are, and with genders, they're even more common. There was a study done by Brody and Hickman on stereotypes, because they do affect our perception. And what they did was they compared how stereotypes and self-reports, how close and connected they are. What they found is men are more accurate in their perception of women than women are in their perception of men. That means women are more influenced by stereotypes than men are. Several reasons for this happening. Women rely on stereotypes because media does a lot of it. Okay? Self-help books, they're all targeted towards women. So there are books which are things like men won't ask for directions and women can't read maps. Then they have books like She Wants a Ring and I Don't Want to Change a Thing. So these things are targeted, and they make generalizations of both genders, and they contribute heavily to stereotypes. The other thing is men do not communicate very much. So women don't have an option. They use stereotypes as an alternate resource to understand their man. So this is some of the reasons why stereotypes come. Falling in love and communication. Let's see how men and women differ in that. It's interesting that the author has the term pragmatist and romantic. And according to the author, basically a romantic person is one who believes in true love, who believes that love is all-encompassing, lasts forever, is strange, incomprehensible, comes once in a lifetime, and conquers all barriers. And now, can you believe it that men are more romantic than women in that? Women tend to be more pragmatist. They believe that they can love many people. Economic security is more important than passion, and some disillusionment is possible, and it does accompany marriage. So women have a different take on it. Women are more likely than men to report on various symptoms of love. They have a feeling of euphoria when they're in love. They feel they're on cloud 9. Everything looks and smells beautiful. Whereas men tend to fall in love more easily. The speed at which men tend to fall in love is far greater than women, partly because of the romanticism, as well as partly due to the fact that physical attractiveness is an important part. They're more visual than women. For women, sharing of intimate feelings are a hallmark of a close relationships, and for men, they are less expressive. Women tend to establish intimacy by discussing problems, showing concern and empathy, whereas men would rather seek straightforward solutions to problems and useful advice. I think this is one of the things that I come across a lot in my marriage, when I'm counseling married couples, is that they feel the husband just doesn't listen to them. Because every time they start to say something, he offers a solution. But like I said before, there are so many issues in marriage and relationships that can easily ironed out if one really recognized and understood the differences in gender and how they think. So women think feelings first and then facts, and men think facts first and then feelings. The equation of power in relationships is also different. And it's interesting that women tend to be more conflict confronting and men tend to be conflict avoiding. It could be that men already feel a sense of greater power, so they do not feel the need to discuss or argue or get on any subject. They don't feel the need to confront, so they avoid it completely. Whereas women feel less powerful than men and they feel the need to enhance or at least retain their position, which they have. Now, conflicts and power in relationship comes about if you recognize the different phases of relationship. We have a phase where it's the honeymoon phase, as we all know it, when people fall in love, they can't see the clay feet, and then comes a very interesting phase called the power struggle phase. And this is something that every relationship goes through. In this phase, one tries, and I think if you look back, you will realize all of us have done it at some point. One tries to change their partner. They try to punish the partner, may feel alone, may feel abandoned, may feel disconnected, become needy and demanding, or withdrawn and isolated. So it's important to understand and appreciate each other's differences so that both can actually be themselves without the need to change either to please the other